There is no better time than now in the life of this nation that the cliché, health is wealth, is more true, particularly now that the nation transmits intergeneral pervasive poverty, according to socio-economic experts. Advancing the health and well-being of the people of the nation through funding research has become an imperative. If the strategic health of the nation is to improve, galvanize our potential wealthy nation into economic prosperity and financial solvency, then we must commit to and invest in research. Our reality is to develop our curiosity and research for holistic national health, particularly addressing our own peculiar diseases. According to health economics principles, research is what propels humanity and why humanity survives and dominates our planet today. We cannot, as a people and a country, be left behind. There is a need to invest in research of all-round survival. On Bridges today, we have the personality whom I will refer to as the chief evangelist of health research through medical research. I'm introducing one of my favorite Nigerians, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, SAN, immediate past Honorable Minister in the last administration, with a very timely messaging for our health. Welcome. This is Bridges and Mujima Kojola, both still working for a more sustainable society. And I'd like to welcome my favorite person.
Thank you, Auntie Muji, for having me. You're a really special person.
People have asked that what is BRF doing with health? We know you as a lawyer. We know you, well, you as Minister of Works. But you are also the chair of the Board of Trustees of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. Let's start from that.
I think that's a good place to start. And just to say that we are not as far back as sometimes some people might want to think. I think some important steps have been taken, and we must thank all of those who took those steps. So sometime in 1976-77, the federal government of Nigeria decided to prioritize research. And I think on the same day, the Federal Executive Council then approved, I think it was the Armed Forces Ruling Council, whatever they were called then, approved the establishment of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research and the Federal Institute of Industrial Research and one other research agency. So it wasn't just medical research, it was industrial research. And we lifted off quite well, because I remember some of the things that FIRO was able to do, and the records of what NIMA has done also is there. And I think that we just lost our way a little bit. We got distracted. So NIMA started getting short of funds. And there's still a DG there. The institute is there. So I visited the institute with members of the foundation, and we saw that research work is still going on. In a very serene environment, but when you enter all of the laboratories, you see young students. I met lots of young students doing the internship, being research assistants. I met research fellows there working with grants.
Some of the participants have just come this morning. Okay.
Companies who want to do CSR, research is one place we want them to look at putting money into. Individuals who want to give back to society, who are not sure how to do so, research is one place to put money. Because it benefits society in many folds that you can even contemplate. As indeed, those who are making their wills, you want to give money to charity in your will, specify research, NIMR, Institute of Industrial Research, those are the kind of places I think. So these are some of the messages that I talk about when I'm talking about evangelism for research. Pointing people where to spend money for human good. Foundations who are already doing some important things in our ecosystem can be pointed and urged to look more seriously at how much they're investing in research instead of how much they're investing in just buying things. So even all of you, I see NTA, I see Channels TV, I don't know which other institutions are here, individuals, go back to your producers, go back to your proprietors. The message from us is that we need them also to donate time on their platforms, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, to evangelize for investment in research. This is not just government business alone. Government will lead it because this is a government-owned institution. But there are also other platforms where research can be done. And that is my first message. And let me just say that the heart and soul of this message is that from what we have seen, we've gone on a tour, we'll go again and complete the tour. We're sitting on a gold mine in this country. For those who have seen gold, when you mine it, it's very dirty. So you need to refine gold. And that is where the money and the investments come from. The gold mine is already here. But we need to now fund this mine to refine gold and to bring value. What are the values that they can bring? This is a big employer of labor all over the world. Research. So as we are dealing with economic issues and all of the issues that are challenging us, we have students, children coming out of school, investments with research will help the economy. It creates jobs. It creates a value chain of support, supply, inputs, and so many more. But more importantly, investment in research is also very reliable in terms of return on investment. Just coming here this morning, I was reading a report on research that shows that every $1 spent on immunization yields a return of over $40. Just immunization alone. And immunization continuously is a product of research. So we're sitting on a gold mine. This is another sector of our economy that should be opened up. And it requires all of us to come together, not just complain about government. All of us must come together. And this is the work that we in the foundation, the Board of Trustees, have done. So for those of you who might be wondering, what is Fashola doing here again? This is not road, this is not bridge, this is not law. I'm not a scientist. All we are doing here, Auntie Mrs. Makojola, Professor Gureje, the DG, Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, the 14th Emir, Professor Edigbe, our job is just to raise funds. So I'm not claiming to be a scientist. So, but we're trying, I think we've raised about 300 million.
So the work is still going on. And it is important, therefore, in my role, to help to bring that work to the consciousness of the Nigerian public. So how did I get into this role? The institute itself has become a victim of shortage of funds, budget cycles, and so many things. So then, I think the DG, in his wisdom, then said, look, let me reach out for help. So he called me, he called Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, he called Professor Idigbe, he called Professor Gureje, and he called my very special person, Auntie Mujima Kojola, to come and serve on a foundation to help raise funds for the institute so that the research work can continue. That's a noble call. It's a contribution to national service, and I'm proud to have been asked to chair this group of very eminent people. And we have raised, I think, over 300 million naira, but that's not the end of the story. It doesn't end there. And what we want to do is to project not just the purpose of research, but the economy of research. It employs people. It's a big economy in Europe, it's a big economy in the Americas, it's a big economy in parts of Africa, and we can't continue to talk about unemployment if we haven't fully released our capacities.
Okay, I just want to bring us back to say it's not a peculiarity. You've mentioned it to us as, you know, wanted to embrace that. But in the developed world, there's a deliberate commitment to funding research. Now, how do we bring this to bear on our situation in Nigeria, particularly that the research conducted are things that are very peculiar to us? It will not interest the white skin, for example, to do some research on diseases that are most commonly found, you know, in the black race. So for me, I just need, well, we've been able to raise 300 million, but you know that it is a drop in the ocean.
And I think this is where the work of our foundation continues. You providing this platform for me to also interact with the public, and NTA helping to carry this message. And so the first thing I want to say is that if we're able to convince any one of you who is listening, whether you are at NTA, you are on any other platform, social media, conventional platform, every voice that joins this advocacy is a voice for employment, is a voice for prosperity, is a voice for the enthronement of research to uniquely African problems. And the problems that we know, for example, that fibroids are unique to us. The other problems that are unique to us, we can find solutions to them if we invest in research. If we invest in research, we can create work for people. And apart from that, there's an opportunity here also to deal with other economic issues apart from unemployment and employment, which is volume of trade, where our exports begin to exceed our import. And so there are drugs that have become almost generic that we need a little bit of effort to start producing en masse here, save the demand and export of our dollar income. And if we export some of them, bring in more dollars into our country. For example, I don't know how much, even of something as basic as syringes that we use in the country, which is the product of research itself, how much of it is being made in Nigeria. And if you look at the economy of syringes, if you look at what happened during COVID. And perhaps the story would have been different. The RNA for the virus was one of the first things that our Institute of Industrial Research developed. But the road to producing a vaccine was stalled by so many challenges, including funding. Ultimately, we imported vaccines that perhaps we could have been in a position to make. So this is one opportunity. There will be more. I'm not a prophet of doom, but some of the books I've read about medical research, about pathogens, about microbes, tells me that in an increasingly interconnected world and in an increasingly urbanizing world, pandemics are going to be part of the staple of the future of human development, and we must be ready. So as I say, look, we are able to reach people because there are cameras. These are the products of industrial research. We are able to communicate. I use glasses, you use glasses, product of industrial and medical research. And so, for example, it is predicted that more than half of the world will be using glasses by 2050 because we're using handheld devices at a scale never experienced before in human development. How much of that, those glasses are going to be made in Nigeria or imported? So these are some of the other sides that I think that our foundation can share with public. Now, where is research funding going to come? There are lots of people who have the opportunity and the resource, but perhaps don't know where to put the money. So NIMR is one place where you can make a will and leave a trust, leave a grant, and for corporates and corporations seeking to do some corporate social responsibility, Nigerian Institute of Medical Research hereby is a place to go. Some corporates are already there and investing in the development of made in Nigeria medical equipment, but there's scope to do a lot more for this country.
So you will agree with me then that there's need to galvanize research, not just in terms of policy, but also into action. And when you look at action, what we saw was mind-boggling when we went around the institute. And I think it's important for us to speak to human resources, because now we really can take them out there to train. But there's room for expansion to train and build capacity even within that complex. Yes, so I just want your comment on it.
There are laboratories there that can do with more equipment. There's land there that they need more expansion. So there's a very, very large spectrum for improvement and development. And this is why I have persuaded my colleagues that we must be evangelists for research, just to let people know what is happening there. And I urge people to visit the institute and see what Nigeria has. And it will perhaps indicate to you the capacity that we can develop. So as I said in my opening statement, we are not as far back behind as people might imagine. The institute is already there. The capacity is already there. And even from the 300 million plus thereabouts that we've raised, we have started issuing research grants to enable people to start research. So it must be an ongoing thing. Of course, not every research succeeds, and that's where the investment is. So there are things that I'm reading now, breakthroughs in the treatment of Alzheimer's. Two drugs are in human testing state now, and that's the point you were making about diseases or ailments that is prevalent in another part of the world, and that's where they're investing. So we must also begin to think not only of possible breakthroughs. Why can't we win Nobel Prizes, for example, beyond literature, in sciences? And we have come close before. As I once shared with you, I had a Nigerian doctor friend who used to tell me way back in 2000 that the cause of ulcer was Helicobacter pylori. But that became what won the Nobel Prize in 2006 in medicine. It could have been us. So, and these are places where we can play. So there is no place where Nigerians can play if we invest. And again, this is my message of evangelism. Everybody can contribute. If you are looking for a good cause, this is a good cause to spend money for.
We have a new Minister of Health. What will be our evangelism Saint Babatunde Fashola, SAN, to him?
Ali Pate is somebody that I had cause to work with when he was Minister of State and Health, and I think I was governor. He comes with the right professional training and the experience to understand the value of research. And I could not write his mandate for him. I think he knows it. He knows it much better than I could ever venture to. He would understand the power, the purpose, and the benefits of research, not only to the economy but to mankind. Today, for example, one of the challenges that is in the top 10 World Health issues is antimicrobial resistance, and which means that everybody is back in the labs. We're looking for more antibiotics, new drugs, because pathogens, microbes are developing resistance. So it's a health challenge, but it's also an economic opportunity. Who can find the wonder drug? Who can find the wonder antibiotic? Who can find the wonder cure? And this across board. And this is for a planet of 7 billion people. It is a gold mine waiting to be taken.
Yes, and I think Nigeria has the huge potentials to do that. Now, before I let you go, there must be some strong message out there boiling in. First, some of my viewers have asked me, how did you come into medicine? And, you reel it out as if it's part of what you did in law.
Well, incidentally, I come from a medical family somewhat. My mother is a nurse.
Fantastic. I know
my mother
that
is a
women
nurse.
Are a woman's influence.
And from very early in life, she was either on morning duty, afternoon duty, night duty. So when she was going on night duty, I became the adult in the house looking after. So, and of course, mommy, what happened, she would tell us stuff. So I got interested in medicine. I really wanted some time to study medicine, but my math was hopeless, and in those days you couldn't do that. And then from second year right through to final year in university, all my other roommates were medical students. So we used to talk a lot of medicine. And of course, I still read a lot, use my search engine a lot. My mind is curious about things. So from the day that I took this appointment as chairman of the foundation, I've been reading about public health issues and what have you. And of course, I've had calls to deal with a major public health concern as governor, the Ebola breakout. And I was also part of the backroom advisory team to the presidential team during the COVID, because some of my colleagues thought that the experience one had from being at the forefront of Ebola would be useful. And then, of course, I see a lot of what is going on, what is being published, what is going on in the race to protect the human civilization and the challenges that we face. Any person who takes himself or herself serious must be reading what's going on in terms of healthcare challenges and we must not take them for granted.
So we have succeeded in building a bridge, evangelizing medical research. Your final word will be to our viewers that it is a collective responsibility, that all of us need to have, donate something into it. And that way, so do I, on your behalf, give them?
Well, just to say that research is the reason we are alive. Medical research is the reason I can see. Medical research is what produced the sphygmometer, where you measure blood pressure. Medical research is the reason that produced immunization for children, that keeps children. So research is life. And please, if you have anything to give, nothing is too little, give it to the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research in Yaba. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Well, you can see that, the influences of people actually determines our passion for where we go. I salute Mama. Thank you for watching. You have a responsibility here, and I do hope that together we can support medical research in Nigeria. Other researches too also need support, but health, they say, is wealth, and that's the bridge we have been able to build today. Thanks for watching.